All right, adding and subtracting fractions. So when adding and subtracting fractions, first we need a common denominator. If there isn't a common denominator, we need to find one, and we're going to do that by least common multiple of the two denominators. Once again, you're going to multiply the fraction, either both of them or maybe just one, depending on the least common multiple, by the number that will give you the denominators, or that will give you a denominator that is the same as the other. So first step here, we've got 3/8 minus 1/4. Okay, we need a common denominator. The least common multiple of 8 and 4 equals 8. And so that's just going to be 2 times 4 will give us 8. So you have 3/8 minus 1/4. We're going to times both the top and bottom by 2, which will then give us 3/8 minus 2/8. Okay, so now that we have a common denominator with 8, then the second is add or subtract the numerators to get the new numerator and keep the common denominator to make the new fraction. Okay, so now we have 3 minus 2. That's going to give us 1. And then we keep our denominator. So now we have 8. So with fractions, remember, once you have a common denominator, you're only adding or subtracting the numerators and you're keeping the same denominator. An exception might be as if you have to reduce the fraction. In some cases, you can reduce the fraction, so simplify it and get the new denominator. But the new denominator should be a factor of the common denominator. Okay, looking at 5/9 plus 3/4. Okay, we need a common denominator, so the LCM of 9 and 4, that is going to be 36. So 9, you go 9, 18, 27, 36. And so 36 is the first one that 4 can go into evenly. So 4 times 9 is going to give us 36. So we're going to multiply both the top and bottom by 4. And then for 3/4, we're going to times the top and bottom, or numerator and denominator, by 9 each. So we'll get 20/36 plus 27/36. Okay, so that's going to equal the sum of the numerators, and we'll keep the same denominator. Okay, so 20 plus 27 is going to give us 47. All right, so now we have an improper fraction, and so third, it says simplify or convert into a mixed number if needed. So to convert into a mixed number, we put the numerator under the bracket, divide by the denominator. 36 can go into 47 once, 36. So 47 minus 36 is going to give us a remainder of 11. So that's our new numerator, denominator, and then our whole number. So then this would equal 1 and 11/36. And 11/36 cannot be simplified, so we just leave it as the mixed number. Okay, so a couple more examples we'll just go through. And once again, when adding and subtracting fractions, the same rules apply when you're dealing with positive and negative numbers. Okay, so first we have 3/8 minus 7/8. We have a common denominator, so we can just take 3 minus 7. 3 minus 7 is going to give us a -4. And then we keep our denominator, which is 8. And now this can be reduced to -1/2. So the least common, or the greatest common factor of 4 and 8 is 4. 4 divided by 4 gives us this 1 here, and 8 divided by 4 gives us 2. Okay, next one, 2/3 plus 4/5. So we need a common denominator. 15 is our least common multiple. So then we're going to take 2/3 times 5 over 5. And we're going to take 4/5 times 3 over 3. 5 times 3 is going to give us 15, and 5 times 3 will give us 15. And once again, we're only multiplying by 1 with the 5 over 5 and the 3 divided by 3. So using the identity, these fractions are going to equal the same as 2. In this case, this one will be 2/3. And then on this side, it'll be the same as 4/5. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10 over 15. And then we're going to add 4 times 3 is 12 over 15. Add our numerators. That's going to give us 22. And then we keep our denominator. Okay, and once again, we can write this as a mixed number. 22 goes under the bracket. 15 goes out in front. 15 going to 22 once. 22 minus 15 is going to give us a remainder of 7. So once again, our whole number, numerator and denominator. So 1 and 7/15. So there we go for solving, adding those two fractions. Okay, so now let's look down here at 7/10 minus a negative 1/5. So once again, remember, we can rewrite this as using the additive inverse. So we switch the minus to a plus, and then we take the additive inverse of negative 1/5. So we'll rewrite this as 7/10 plus the additive inverse of negative 1/5 is just 1/5. Or to remember, if you're minusing a negative, it's the same as adding that positive number. Okay, so we need a common denominator. We can see that 5 times 2 gives us 10, so we're just going to multiply this by 2, our 1/5 by 2 over 2, and that will give us 7/10 plus 2/10, which equals 9/10. We add our numerators to get 9, and then we keep our denominator. So make sure you don't add the denominators as well and say, oh, well, that equals 9/20. That is incorrect. Okay, last one, we got a negative 4/9 minus 7/18. Okay, so we have two negatives. So when we have a negative minus a number, it's the same as adding those two numbers and then just keeping the sign. So remember, if it's the same sign, add the numbers, keep the sign. So we've got 4/9 plus 7/18. And I'm just going to do this and put a negative out front here. Okay, so 9 and 18 are not the same, but the least common multiple between 9 and 18 is 18. So we're going to multiply both the top and bottom by 2. So this will give us 8/18 plus 7/18. And that answer is going to be negative. So common denominator, now we add the numerators. 8 plus 7 is 15. And we keep our denominator, and this is negative. So we have 15 over 18. However, we need to simplify this. The greatest common factor of 15 and 18 would be 3. So we can divide both top and bottom by 3. 15 divided by 3 is going to give us 5. And then 18 divided by 3 will give us 6. and that is a negative number, so make sure to make that negative. All right, and that is adding and subtracting fractions. Make sure you have a common denominator, and then you just add the numerators or subtract the numerators and keep the denominator.